Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Gal.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And Katie's here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I like it. Sound just like me.
Still waiting to see if Nick will join, and maybe Spence is gonna peek in. He's back. Anyway, our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So, another week,
Yep.
another storm.
Yeah, got a lot
Yeah.
of rain. It
Thankfully,
just
just rain for us. But I'm guessing Wilmington got it rough, right?
I saw videos of flooding. I don't know where, but it was the water line got pushed all the way up, so those houses are lucky to be on stilts. But then it made me think about like, well, what about cars? Like, where do people take their cars? I guess they're just underwater now.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, when they know that it's going to hit in areas like this, they move their car to higher ground.
Yeah.
If they can, yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of people do get it. But I talked with, I didn't talk, I texted with Nick yesterday, and he said everything was fine. So, but yeah, that's the area that got the brunt of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
had
it just rained a bunch yesterday. But didn't stop me and my friends. We had a game plan and we set out and did it.
yeah, the marshal called in the morning, say everything okay over there? I said, yep. I don't see just few leaves outside, and I took a peek at the rain gauge, and there was almost an inch. And I said, yeah, we didn't even get an inch. But yeah, by the end of the day, it was like over 3 inches
Yeah, it
in
was
the
a
gauge.
ton.
Yep.
And I saw a lot of accidents yesterday too, and I don't know if people were just driving crazy because I had my friends and I we were running around town and yeah, there's a lot of people
Hmm.
slick just I guess they were barreling down the highway like it was no rain or whatever. There's a lot of but I saw at least 6 or 7 accidents that were single car accidents where like the car went off on the guardrail. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yep. It's mainly people don't know how to drive in
Yeah.
such conditions.
Just slow down, people. Why you gotta go so fast?
Yeah.
You'll be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's you see, that's normally this is when people that drive carefully and watch what's going on, you still are not safe because one of
Of
those
the
drivers
crazies.
may just creep up on you. And
Yeah.
yeah, yep. So, what's happening tech wise that you
Well,
got?
I can talk about 3D printing because the company that I bought my 3D printer from, they're called Bamboo Labs. They announced on September 20th a new printer, and it's a hobby printer, quote unquote hobby printer. It's a mini printer, and but what's great about this mini printer is that it has the auto calibration, the auto leveling, auto this, that, and other thing, which is why I bought the printer, their big printer or their regular size printer, and the print bed for that is 256 millimeters, and it's a square 256. This one, I think the small one is 180. Uh, and I think just the printer itself is $300. They also have an attachment, a spool attachment, where you can load up 4 different spool colors, and I think that's an extra $200 if you wanna buy that model. But it's great because, for people that don't wanna spend over $500 on a 3D printer, you can get an amazing one. I've had my Bamboo Lab now for, like, just over a month, and I have had no issues with it, knock on wood, and, the quality of the prints are amazing, like, I'm printing minis, and all my friends are impressed when they see it, they're like, "Wow, that's from a filament printer? That's crazy." So, I think it's called the A1 Mini, that's their new printer. So, I
Cool.
might be getting one when they come out, because right now it was just like an announcement, you can, like, pre-orders.
Well,
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So if anybody's thinking about getting into 3D printing and $300 sounds good. I think $300 is a very reasonable price for
yeah, but
all of the stuff you get for it. Like the auto leveling stuff and auto calibration, that is like top cheese. That's like out of the box, you just open it, plug it in, and boom, it goes. Where other 3D printers, you have to put them together, you have to do this, that, and other thing, and it's a pain in the butt.
but it's most likely somebody who buys the base model, like what you say, for 300 bucks, is going to spend sooner or later the rest of the for the extras that you're talking about. But you got it in the big printer, right?
Yeah. No, so the extra $200 is for their spool holder that holds 4 different
And
spools.
how
So
many
that
the and
means
okay, and how many does yours?
that means that you can print with different colors. Because right
Right.
now, the printer, that I have only supports 1 spool intake, so it only prints 1
Oh,
color.
okay.
If I wanted the one that prints multiple colors, I had to buy the upgraded version, which I think it was like
Oh,
$1,000 or something. I don't know. As soon as I saw that it was more expensive, I didn't even pay attention to it. So this is a great product because for $500, which is cheaper than the regular model that I have by $100, you can get the printer and multicolor support. And you might think to yourself, well, who cares about multicolors? Um, it's useful if you're building uh things that like sculptures that have different, I don't know, different colors. That's at the end of the day. For me, it's not worth it because I don't care. I paint my minis or I
mhm.
paint my stuff. But some people don't want to paint their models. And it's not just models as in like miniature game stuff that I print. People are doing sports memorabilia. They're doing jerseys, jersey numbers, and those usually have like the team color and then the white number. I've seen those. I've seen Christmas ornaments that are multiple colors. I've seen people that print manufacturer things for like farm equipment, and they want to try different colors for testing and convenience because if a spool runs out, then it can just go to the next thread instead of you having to pause the print, insert the new filament. So there's advantages to it, but for me, I work from home, so it's not a big deal. Like when the filament runs out, I can just easily walk over and replace it.
So let me ask you this also. Let's say that you have one with the 4 colors and that you're printing a tiger. Can you
Yeah,
actually, when it's finished, can you program it in a way that when it's finished, it's really you don't need to
yeah.
print it? So
You
it
paint it, you mean? Yeah, yeah.
okay,
It prints it. Excuse me, it's amazing. And a lot
okay.
of the examples that I've seen are like toys where most of the toys are casted in different color plastic and they're not necessarily painted. This like meets that quality of it's multicolored plastic. And so it could print like it could print a picture almost, with the 4 colors.
And is the printer only one head or with the
Yes.
so it's one head, 4 colors.
Yep, and it changes. So this is where I'm not super knowledgeable because I don't have one, but with this new printer, apparently it's like less waste because the 4 colors go like directly into the print
Mhm.
head and I don't know if the previous version did it, but the previous or the predecessor to it, people were complaining about the waste, and it's going to waste because what the printer does to clean the nozzle after each time it changes or switches filament, it excretes a little bit of it so
Right.
that the
Has
tube is
to.
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they call it the printer's poop. Like it poops a little bit and then it gets rid of it. So apparently on the other one, the predecessor, it would poop a lot, and so people were like, "This is a lot of waste." And this one doesn't poop as much. But don't hold me to that because again, that's not my priority. So I haven't paid attention. I've just read the comments.
Yeah.
So don't hold that as gospel. But it's funny because people, print poop chutes that collect the poop, and for this new printer, so beforehand, what the printer does is it goes to the back of the unit, and it has a little hole, so wipes the poop off, and it drops behind your printer. Well, this printer, the head stays in the center, and it's the plate that moves beneath it, and so when it poops, it has a little lever that shoots it out so it like ejects it across the room. And the video that they were showing to promote it, it was so funny. And I was like, I might have to get the printer just for that. I mean, it would be annoying because you probably have like poop everywhere, printer poop, but it's just so funny to watch it just sling it. Like it's going like 100 miles an hour away from the printer.
That is funny.
I know it was. They it was like funny because their video ad was like, oh, sophisticated, sleek, amazing. NASA uses this. I was like, "Pew."
Huh? Alright. Um, what w I saw an article about, OpenAI new DALE-E 3.
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not aware of it? Katie?
Mm-mm.
I thought you
No,
using it,
there.
right?
I'm using ChatGPT, but I don't really pay
No, she
attention.
uses Midjourney, not Dali.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh,
use
okay.
Midjourney.
Well, the article goes, OpenAI is offering an early look at DALL-E 3, the next version of its image generation tool. The update allows DALL-E 3 to be summoned and controlled using ChatGPT and aims to produce higher quality images that more faithfully reflect queries. OpenAI says that DALL-E 3 is significantly better at understanding the intent of prompts, particularly longer ones, compared to DALL-E 2, which debuted in April. OpenAI says DALL-E 3 also does better, but not perfectly, in areas that have tripped up image generators, such as text and hands. I don't understand that.
Oh yeah, putting in specific text inside the image. So somebody holding a sign and the sign saying something specifically
Oh,
that wasn't possible before, and that's like a new feature.
hmm. All
It
right.
was trying to interpret the text instead of just put this piece of text inside, right? So
Mhm.
now when you give it like a specific quote or something and say put it in the picture, then it understands that. It won't try to manipulate the text.
I
Huh.
when I use Midjourney, that's the one thing that's, like, really annoying about it because I'll ask it to spell out a word or do a poster or put my initials or I don't know, whatever, those are just examples, and it doesn't understand what letters look like, and it'll just do, like it'll end up looking like Greek, where it's like, okay, well, English is a lot of straight lines, and so it'll just do, like, a bunch of straight lines that from far away looks like text, but when you actually, like, look at it, I was like, this is just lines."
So
So,
yeah, so that's one of the changes that DALI introduces.
so you couldn't actually have did I understand it correctly? You couldn't generate an image with text in it?
Let's say you want to generate a
Hmm.
text that says Donald Trump, right, holds a sign saying vote Democrat.
Okay.
Okay. So it'll show it'll probably do an image with Donald Trump holding a sign, but the text inside will not say what you gave it. It'll be some sort of gibberish
Oh,
marking because the AI did not have the ability
yeah,
of just following that instruction, right?
interesting. For letters.
Yeah,
It can do a face, but it cannot do a letter.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's never been good with the text unless you do single letters. If you say do a M or do a L, do a J, it's like I got this, and it makes amazing. But as soon as you add another layer or another letter, it's like I don't understand. What do you mean? I don't like what's an alphabet?
Hmm. All right. And Google is pushing also with AI now, according to the information. Google is nearing the release of Gemini, its sorry, conversational artificial intelligence software intended to compete with OpenAI GPT-4 model. That's coming from Reuters. For Google, the stakes of Gemini's launch are high. Google has intensified investment in generative AI this year as it plays catch up after Microsoft backed OpenAI launch of ChatGPT last year took the tech world by storm. Gemini is a collection of large language models that power everything from chatbots to features that either summarize text or generate original text based on what users want to read, like email draft, music lyric, or news story. It is also expected to help software engineers write code and generate original images based on what users ask to see. Google is currently giving developers access to a relatively large version of Gemini, but not the largest version it is developing, which would be more on par with GPT-4. The report that's coming from the report. The search and advertising giant plans to make Gemini available to companies through its Google Cloud Vertex AI service. So don't look for it to be part of your browser.
Hmm.
It's going to be a product. It's fine. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's interesting. We're getting to the point like what in the early days of computing, this company built this computer, then the next one built this one, which was a little bit better at doing this and that, and then come a third one and builds that. So we're seeing different models coming out, and each one is better than the last one that was
Mhm.
released by it doesn't matter who.
I'd like
So
to try it. ChatGPT for how I use it is pretty awesome. Uh, so I did use Bing the other day. Bing's not my natural browser or anything like that.
mhm,
But I did ask it a question, and it said based on it was something. So this is my okay. I'm having multiple thoughts here. This is my problem with Google search is that I put in something specific with
mhm,
the Google search and it doesn't give me what I want.
that's
It
right.
gives me what it thinks I want, and
Yep,
it's very frustrating.
it is.
And so when I went to Bing and I asked it my question, the first thing that popped up was an AI box, and it was like a and it started printing out, "Oh, well, this is what is common, what most people think, but it could also be this, that, and other thing." And I read it and I was like, "Oh, this is nice," because instead of having to click on the links to kind of find that information myself, it
Mhm.
gave me a summary and I was able to narrow down my choices without wasting my time. So that was a very nice feature.
Absolutely. That is frustrating. Sometimes you have to spend a lot of time finding what you really want. You're right.
Yeah, and it makes Google. Google's especially frustrating for anything technical, because so for I think the last time I used or I needed to find something, it was a shortcut for something. Like I needed a shortcut for software. I think it was like my editing software. I was like, is there a shortcut for this? And when I typed it into Google, it was like, "Oh, make your own shortcuts," or, "Oh, these are the most popular shortcuts," and blah, blah. I was like, "No, I have a specific function I'm trying to do. Answer yes or no if there's a shortcut for it." Well,
Mhm.
here are the top 20 shortcuts people like to make. I'm like, "Ah!" It was so frustrating. At the end of the day, I just said "F it," and I did it the long way because I was so frustrated with the results. Maybe I should have gone to Bing, but,
Well, I
it
mean,
just
it doesn't have to be your default one if you don't like it, but I mean, you can
yeah.
use it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
anyways.
Gal, what's your take on AI in a search?
I have not incorporated AI into my actual workflow yet. I go to it every once in a while, but it's not my search engine. I think one of the things I am going to do is I'm currently my search engine is DuckDuckGo, right?
Mhm.
And it isn't enhanced in any way like that. It does a decent job. I just need to I just need to start asking what so the thing is like this. My search queries, they're very, very specialized, right? Like if I'm looking for something, I'm probably looking for something in a very specific location. If I'm looking for coding information or tips or something like that, I'm looking for specific answers for Stack Overflow or Stack Exchange, any of their sites, stuff like that. Like I
Mhm.
know where the good answers are going to come to me, and so when I search for something specific in my for work or something like that, I'm using the general search engine, but I'm focusing on the results that I get from these sites.
Right.
And it's fast for me. Okay. If I go and ask an AI, any AI, it takes time for the AI to generate that response, right? It's a few seconds. It's not
Mhm.
big, right? But by the time that it produces the result, I've already screened the first page of results from a regular search engine, and I know, and I'll probably be reading the answer already. And I'm really interested in the complete answer, in if somebody, in how the question was asked, right, and how the answer was answered, because that gives me context. I'm not just looking for a hammer to hit the nail, right? I want the whole theory of how the hammer comes and the force applied. Like so, so in my workflow, AI at this point is a bit it's a bit slow. But if I'm looking at tackling something that's completely new to me, I found AI to be a very refreshing alternative to a search engine. If I need to learn syntax in a language that I do not know, or if I'm looking for a construct for some sort of scripting that I'm unfamiliar with, as long as that tool is an established one, it's not like new from the past couple of years, then AI is refreshing in the approach it gives me. So at that time, I go to the AI and I ask for suggestions. And some of the times it's wrong, but some of the times it's right. And even when it's wrong, especially with Bing, where it points to the resources, then it's a lot faster to me to start learning something. That's the way I use AI today. Uh, if I need to come up with a presentation, right? Uh, so thinking about, uh, I'm great in presenting information. I'm doing it successfully. I think I'm engaging my audience right at work and stuff like that. What I'm missing most of the time is starting. How do I start this, right? How do I structure it? So throwing some requirements about that to ChatGPT, it comes back with some sort of structure. And if that doesn't work for me, then I ask it to modify it, and it does, right? So stuff like that. That's how I use AI today, and it's phenomenal.
Oh, so
Um,
you use it, you're using it, and it works.
from time to time, yeah. I can't say I use it every week, but I think I use it. I probably have like deep dives um, 2, 3 times a month, uh, and and I find it useful. Yeah, most of the time I find it useful. I really like the Bing implementation right now because it's a conduit to ChatGPT with a lot less friction. Um, ChatGPT requires you to log in. That's one.
Mhm.
If you want images from DALE, right, that requires credits. Bing, you go through the chat, you ask for it to generate an image, and it's there. Um, it's not as versatile as what Midjourney does today, but hey, ChatGPT's DALE-E3 is going to be introduced soon, and if that's going to be tied to Bing to the Bing AI, then that means easy access to that, and that's probably going to surpass Midjourney, and then Midjourney will come up with
Right.
their own improvement. Right? It's an arm race. It's an
Yeah.
arms race, like you said. So yeah,
Okay, so
these tools are here to. So here, I think the most important uh, notice update from this week is not just Chat DALE-3. Microsoft has announced that they are going to incorporate AI in all of their products,
oh,
right? They're talking about 125 new features. And if I remember the numbers correctly. So they're talking about including AI into Office for, remember the annoying Clippy?
mhm,
They are basically
Clippy.
they finally have the technology
that will
to
do it.
make that paradigm actually work,
Yeah.
right? Not just be annoying. And so I doubt they're going to give it a face like they did back in the 90s. But
They should.
they're I don't think they should. I do not think they should.
Oh, come
Uh,
on.
because
Clippy
I
was
think
cute.
it'll be a distraction, and it will take away from any additional value that it's going to bring. I'll tell you what they can do. They can start with it faceless, and then in the future introduce an option for you to give it a face. But do it opt in, because if you do it any other way, it's just going to blow in their face. Uh, but yeah, the idea here is that AI is finally ready to do what that tool was supposed to do.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's how I see it. When you're writing code today, you have Copilot from them, right? GitHub is Microsoft, remember. So if you pay the fee, you can have AI, right, suggest code snippets while you're writing code. And the people who are using it, right, are saying something very similar to what I said before. If you're new to this, this is this is a godsend, because it it speeds up the entire process of writing code and structuring it, and giving you suggestions and making you write good code from the get go faster, right? So for beginners, it is phenomenal. The seasoned ones, they really like when it comes to common structures and repeated and things that are a chore to repeat. As it detects that you're about to do it, right? It provides you that piece of code, all of that, and the results are good, right? So that is something I would love to see. But that I'm not paying for that right now, because I'm not writing a lot of code. I'm writing some code, but not a lot of code. So it's not. it's not something that would benefit me personally. We'll see.
Yeah. Um, you said something before that caught my ear. That with uh, Mid-Journey, you have to have credits.
DALE and Midjourney. I don't know about Midjourney. Midjourney is there's a paid service I know,
Yeah,
but
I do the paid service.
yeah, and that just gives you priority, I think, over the free
Oh,
options. But DALE 2.0 from OpenAI, you get like 50 credits free, and every image is a credit. So you ask it to generate something, then you deplete the credit, and then you can buy more credits.
okay.
Yeah.
And what does it cost?
But it's not like a lot. I don't remember the cost, but like you buy in packages of 5, 10, $15. I don't remember how many credits you get,
Mhm.
but it's like, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I can tell you Mid-Journeys. So, uh, hold on, let me pull up the plans. So
Eddie, your
the ba
face is kind of dark for some reason.
oh, I don't know. Let me turn my camera on and off.
No, I think it's lighting in your room.
Yeah.
That's weird because my room's pretty bright. Oh well.
Anyway,
So the basic plan is $8 a month, and you get 200 images you can generate with 3 concurrent fast jobs. So but they have fast generations where they'll generate the image really fast, and you can do 3 at a time if you do the basic plan. But you get 200 images a month. The standard plan is $24 a month, and this is billed yearly, so I'm guessing that it's probably more expensive if you do it month to month. The 20 and I have the standard well, I did have the standard plan. I think I switched to basic because I didn't use it as much. Uh, it's 15 hours of fast generation, and it's unlimited relaxed generation. So you can make as many images as you want, but you get 15 hours of really, really fast.
so what's the difference between the real fast and the relaxed?
The
Fast.
relaxed, the real fast, it will make an image in 20 seconds or
Okay.
less.
And the
The
relaxed?
relaxed will be like 45 seconds to a minute.
Oh,
It's about CPU
yeah,
reservation,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
CPU,
And
GPU. Yeah.
Resources.
so for $8 a month, you can do 200 images a month. For $24 a month, you can do unlimited images a month with 15 hours of fast. And I never reached that 15 hours a limit on the standard plan. The pro plan is 30 hours. You could and the plan is $48 a month. 30 hours of fast. You get stealth image generation, which means that your images aren't public. So one of the things with Midjourney is that you have a profile. It uses your Discord as your username and stuff, and so you get a profile in Midjourney, and everything you generate becomes public on there, so other people can see it. But if you pay for the pro plan, the images are hidden, so only you can see them, and you can do 12 fast jobs at the same time. So you'll cap out at the other plans at 3 fast jobs. And that's like clicking and being like, "Oh, generate this," or "Do a new version of that," and so you're capped out at 3 at a time. Another one is 12 for the pro. But the thing about the pro one is really you're paying for uh the hiding your images or not making them public.
Yep.
But it's fun. I use Majority all the time. It's such a lifesaver as far as like the same thing with Chat GPT. It's a good place to start. And then Uh, it does quick mock-ups so I could test stuff.
Um, John was saying in the chat that your face is your image is dark because it's compensating for the light behind you, but you cannot close those blinds any
No.
because
I mean,
they're
I've got a
the light.
desk light and
There you
a
go.
a
Up and it
a little bit.
and it went back dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to
Is your room, your ceiling light on?
no. Should I
That
turn it on?
that'll do the trick, I think.
Try it.
Oh, reach over. It goes back to dark. It was light for half a second, and then it went back to being dark.
Yeah, it's compensate it's an automatic.
Camera
Never mind.
why?
Never mind. Don't touch it now. Yeah, I always tell people
Yeah, you
to
see, it's the same for me. I have a light that's on my face. Otherwise, it's really really dark.
Maybe I
yeah,
need to put my second monitor. I'll put a white screen on it.
the 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 trick really when you do and we're digressing here, when you do video a lot is not to have the camera do automatic adjustment. Leave it,
Some do
adjust it,
that.
and take the put it on manual so you it always stays the same. Then
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
then the background will be really really overexposed for her. Uh, it's
uh,
Okay,
it's
did
light
it
saturation. Yeah,
w
it happens.
does it
yeah,
look better?
yeah.
This is fantastic.
Okay, so
Yeah, you put a a white screen, right?
I put a white screen next to me because 'cause I've got a monitor right here that you could see, and,
So what
actually
you need to get one of those rings.
that's just another thing I gotta spend money on.
No,
Oh,
that desk lamp, you just need to face it on higher, just a bit of.
I can't move it,
No,
I've got crap on my desk. But
that's the problem.
what I ended up doing is, I went into the settings and there's a low lighting setting, and I just clicked that.
okay. Yeah, actually, the windows now look just like they're white
Yeah.
paint on top of your wall. It doesn't look like it's very bright.
Perfect.
Oh, looks good. Okay. Anyway, um, where were we? Talking about never mind.
ChatGPT. We were
Yeah.
talking about AI.
AIs.
Switch to something else.
Alright. So, Intel has unveiled Thunderbolt 5,
That's a cool name.
the
Mm.
latest iteration of its standard aimed at enabling super fast connectivity. With Thunderbolt 5, Intel promises a significant leap in connectivity speed and bandwidth, delivering enhanced performance for computer use. The unveiling of a prototype laptop and dock accompanied the announcement, providing a glimpse into the future of Thunderbolt technology. Thunderbolt 5 will offer an impressive 80 gig per second of bidirectional bandwidth, enabling lightning fast data transfer and connectivity. Additionally, with the introduction of bandwidth boost, Thunderbolt 5 will reach up to 120 gigabits, ensuring an unparalleled display experience for users. These advancements represent 2 to 3 times more bandwidth than Thunderbolt 4, and it can deliver up to 240 watts of power. I always thought Thunderbolt was an Apple thing.
No, that's something else. Lightning. You're talking
No,
about the lightning connector.
I'm talking about Thunderbolt because all the monitors of if you wanted to connect an external monitor to your laptop or whatever, it was a Thunderbolt connector.
Right, but that's not an Apple thing. That's a standard.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I always associated it with Apple.
Thunderbolt is basically
So,
USB-C for everything. That's basically
uh,
what that means. The all of the docking stations you see today, right? For the newer generation,
right,
those are Thunderbolt. Where you get a USB-C from the laptop. You plug that um, uh, the docking station to it, and then you get everything, right? You get Ethernet, you get video, you get audio, you get USB, you get SD cards. They're all connected through that through the USB-C, but it provides the same bandwidth and connectivity as old school docking station where you would hook up to the bus directly, right? So um, Yeah, I mean that's why they're talking about these ridiculously high bandwidth rates. Because if you're talking about an 8K display, multiple 8K displays, right?
Yeah, you
With
need.
high refresh rate, you
Mhm.
need a very, very high bandwidth.
Yep.
So, if it's supposed to connect with a single USB connector, USB-C connector to a machine, right? Be it a phone or a laptop, and you want to drive that amount of detail to multiple screens, right? Then you need high bandwidth.
You need the higher the better. Ye
Yeah, I mean the higher the bandwidth is, the more options you have in connectivity
Right.
outside of it,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if you remember, but they used to make RGB or VGA adapters that go from come for laptops that hook to the USB port,
Yeah,
and it was real slow. I mean, you could see the uh, it's
yeah,
very
especially with
noticeable.
USB 2. Yeah,
Yeah. So
USB 3, you're getting the bandwidth that you need or something like that above
yeah,
640
yeah.
pixels, right? Yeah, so yeah.
So yeah, this will be very, very nice. Absolutely. Okay, let's see what else. Back to Signal. Meredith Whitaker, the president of the Signal Foundation, which maintains the nonprofit Signal messaging app, reaffirmed that Signal would leave the UK if the country's recently passed online safety bill forced Signal to build backdoors into its end to end encryption.
Good for them. I hope they
Absolutely.
keep at it. Yeah.
Uh,
People, I understand that there are always criminal players, right? That
Elements. Yeah.
are abusing privacy technology,
Right.
right? Like nobody's naive. Nobody is naive.
Right.
But the fact that there are bad players does not need to put, right, everybody else. So I don't know. It's like it's a tough. I understand where this comes from, right? Where fear can bring you that um, to make these bad decisions, but there has to be a way without, right? Without that, um, yeah,
Well,
it's always a problem.
yeah. And without much fanfare, Apple on Monday rolled out iOS 17, iPad OS 17, tvOS 17, HomePod 17, and watchOS 10. The latest operating system versions for all its devices minus the Mac lineup. So not the Mac, but everything else.
So everything is 17 except the watch. It's 10.
Everything is the watches are slow.
It's like we have uniformed everything. Oh, except this.
Yeah, except this. Yep. I don't know,
Yeah, funny.
but it's good for them.
Yeah.
And finally, the Federal Communications Commission is taking steps to restrict voice over Internet protocol providers from easily accessing US telephone numbers. Over the past several years, robocallers have exploited VoIP providers to inu- in, inundate US citizens with unwanted calls, many of which come from falsified numbers.
Yeah,
Previously,
please.
huh?
I said, please. I get
Yeah.
calls all the time, and I got last week cut calls from international numbers, quote unquote international.
Uh, Previously, the regulations allowed VoIP service relatively uncomplicated access to US phone numbers. That's why when you go to any VoIP, you say, "Where do you want your number?"
Mhm.
You can get numbers anywhere. But yeah, it is, they are moving real slow for some reason. This has been in the works, and they say, "Yeah, we can't let them do this. We can't let them do that." But
If
it's
if Nick was on the show, he'd be like, "The government moving slow? Shocker."
yeah, well, um, and on the same
I find something more peculiar
yeah,
than the government here. I have no problem with the government moving slow on this, right? But it's like phone companies, right? Those who are in charge of defining the standards that they are allowing to use on their networks, right? They are the culprits here,
yeah, they are.
right?
They're
They are the
making money
culprits
from
here.
it.
It's not the government. The government will force their hand eventually, right?
Well, that's the
But
problem. They eventually, I mean, this is easy to stop that. Why does it take so long to do this?
it's
Years.
because we do not have a voice in the government compared
Yeah.
to lobbyists, right? And so, what needs to happen, right, needs to some sort of transparency of the amount of funds and the amount of pressure applied on politicians, right, when it comes to these type of rulings. And that doesn't exist, right? That's why lobbying exists, because it's always behind the curtains.
Well,
It's always been a problem.
yeah. And
It's
and
just
here
become much more.
a- and here's one way that they are actually doing something in a way. A suspicious phone company is on the verge of having all its calls blocked by US based telcos after being accused of ignoring orders to investigate and block robocalls.
Okay.
One Owl Telecom is a US based gateway provider that routes phone calls from outside the US to consumer phone companies such as Verizon. Robocalls on One Owl network apparently bombarded consumers without their consent with pre-recorded messages about fictitious orders. On August 1st, the FCC sent One Owl a notification of suspected illegal robocalls traffic, ordering it to investigate robocall traffic identified by US Telecom's industry traceback group. Block all of the identified traffic within 14 days and continue to block the identified gateway traffic as well as substantially similar traffic on an ongoing basis. One Owl apparently hasn't taken any of the required steps, the FCC said. One Owl never responded, and the FCC Enforcement Bureau is not aware of any measures One Owl is taking to comply with the notice. This is what the FCC order said.
Yeah, ban them.
Well, you can stop. I mean, they have to comply with FCC rules, and everybody has to with the phone company if they're a well, I don't know, phone company.
Yeah.
And but because the FCC never really, this is like telling the kid if you're going to do it, you're going to get spanked, and you don't spank, and then you do it again, and you say, "Hey, I'm going to spank you," and you don't, and you don't do anything. So they say, "Huh, I don't give a damn." They're not going to do anything. Um, we'll see what happens with this. But finally, like an actual action. But they're making a lot of money from these things, and it's going to hurt the business.
Mhm.
Um, Parents of U.S. parents in the US whose children purchase items in the popular game Fortnite without their permission will be able to claim a refund from today. That was last week. The US regulator accused the game of tricking players into making unintended purchases and breaching privacy. Fortnite developer Epic Games agreed to pay 245 million in refunds in
Shoo.
2022. Huh?
Says
How
shoof.
much?
244 million.
245 million.
Yeah, that's peanuts for
Yeah,
what they
for
make on that game.
right. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has now begun the process of contacting 37 million people to alert them to the compensation. What do you mean, process of contacting? What do? You send emails to all of them? You call
Well,
them? What in the world? You know,
well, to play these games, you have to have an Epic account, right? And I don't play Fortnite, but if it's anything like Steam, they have like a central hub where you download the game, and that central hub is the game center. So there could be just a notification that's sent to your game account, right?
I guess I'm not a player, so I don't know.
Yes, and probably the PayPal account that is tied to that or something like that. Like
Yeah,
they need, yeah.
I'm sure it's
Think
all
about
linked to it.
recall notices. It's just
Yeah,
the same
that's it.
idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This sounds like it's another way of dragging your feet. Oh, well, we have to contact 37 million people to let them know about it. So it's going to take time. That's the way I read it.
It always takes time.
Well, no, you put out a notice, and those that did it, and
Yeah, but
those that,
put out a notice. It takes time until everybody
well,
gets the notice.
oh, until everybody
Uh,
gets it. Yeah.
it's going to take time, but they're going to pay it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
they'll pay it.
it just means that the court will need to revisit this, like, I don't know, in a year or when that time is passed, right? And see,
Yeah.
and get the report. How many did you actually,
Refund too.
yeah,
How many got their
compensate? Yeah,
refund? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, no, absolutely.
yeah. It'll happen. It'll just take time.
Yep. But it's interesting. So they did do, if they agreed to that without going to court, like they settled, sounds like, then they actually did do that, trick them into.
I mean, if they settled, right, then you know that
There,
it's for their benefit
yeah,
eventually, and that's
yeah.
fine. By the way, that's fine. I'm not complaining about them settling, right? But
No,
it's
no, no,
like
no.
they were caught in the wrong.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, yep. Um, we all have echo devices, or
Yeah,
most of us.
mine's really annoying. Keeps disconnecting.
At its fall hardware event Wednesday, Amazon revealed an all-new A-Word voice assistant powered by its new large language model.
Large language model. What
Yeah,
does that even
Yeah,
by
mean?
the A-Word.
ChatGPT is a large language model.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
According to Dave Lim, Amazon's current SVP of Devices and Services, that's kind of hard to, no, not, okay, this new Alexa can understand conversational phrases and respond appropriately, interpret context more effectively, and complete multiple requests from one command. In an interview with The Verge ahead of the event, he explained that the new Alexa LLM is a true generalizable large language model that's very optimized for the Alexa use case. It's not what you find with a Bard or ChatGPT or any of these things.
So are we
Um,
getting a robot assistant? Is that what that
I
is?
don't, I know, I was reading this and I didn't see anything about updating. I think you have to buy a new one to get that. I don't think this is going to be an update to current. Echo device
I actually think it will be eventually, because it's has nothing to do
with the device.
with
Yeah.
what's running on the device.
Well,
It probably will take time for updating the devices to work with the new API. There is probably some software update that needs to happen locally in order for it to correctly send the information back and forth. But uh, they'll start with new devices and they'll
yeah.
probably just upgrade the old ones slowly. That's my guess. If they don't do it, I mean,
That's
then
okay. We're not gonna hold you.
yeah.
But it's interesting. Understand conversational phrases. I thought it does. When you
Well,
when
yes
you
and no. Um,
you always talk to it. You don't say one word. You say,
you talk to it, but you cannot ask it complex questions. It just infers from your question very simple search phrase and acts on it. So if you want to ask, uh,
so if you
if you
say,
want to
"What
ask
is"
it to do a couple of calculations right in a row, it won't be able to do it
okay, now
because
I'm
it
not
can
talking
answer.
about yeah, I'm not talking about the about 2 different questions kinda in a row. I'm talking about 1 question. So if you say, "Tell me what's the weather gonna be like tomorrow in Raleigh."
Right.
That's
So it captures weather and Raleigh, and that's how it knows what to give you. Right.
so if I don't know.
But
Maybe, so beforehand when you wanted to turn on a light, you'd say, "Alexa, turn on living room light." Well, maybe now you could say, "Alexa, the living room needs to be brighter." And it goes, "Okay," turns on the light. So you don't actually have to give it a
probably
command. You can give it something vague and be like, "It's dark in here, make it brighter," and it will know to turn on the light.
I'll
That
the phrases that you use today are
yeah,
very rigid. It, there cannot be try. When it lights up with a yellow circle,
right,
right? So you can ask for its notifications, right?
right,
Or you can ask, what's new or what did I miss, right? There are certain phrases that it's looking for. Maybe now it'll just be expanded and it won't be that rigid because some of the updates, for example, notifications went away for a while and then they had to. It's something to do with the way they're updating their model on their end every time, right? If you give it more brain, more ability to process speech better, then maybe, right? Maybe it'll be able to provide better answers or better responses to your requests. That's all. I mean, we've seen that AI, the way ChatGPT and its peers are responding, is a lot more impressive than just a simple a word search, right? Like a question. And sometimes you want to ask a question within a context. Now you will be able, in this context, blah 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 blah. What would be the answer to da 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 da? Right, stuff like that. So that's what they're talking about. But until we test it, we wouldn't know.
yeah, I mean, it again, I thought that the short, uh, phrases that we have to tell it what to do, were actually for the purpose of keeping it short. I like it. I instead of saying, "Hey, Alexa, no, I want you to turn the light in the living room, the one by the window." I mean, that's a kinda
Yeah, no, no, that's I agree with you. But think about it this way, right? Okay, I understand short, but think about you being able to tell it the next time I'm going to say blah, 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 blah. This is what I mean. Do this, right? And you'll be able to do it by speech instead of going to the app and
and put it
configuring and
okay.
changing, right?
Uh,
Stuff like that. If it will be able to understand, then it'll be able to do that
to do
for
that.
you,
Yeah.
right?
And it's not like it's gonna forget the old stuff too. So you
Yeah.
could still
No.
treat it like you did previously. It's just now it's not gonna get confused if
Yeah.
you throw something new at it. Or maybe it does get confused and it's awful and we hate it. So
Oh.
Bring back old Alexa.
yeah. Set her free.
All right, so Amazon, following other streaming platforms looking to further monetize their content, will run ads on its Prime Video service in key markets.
Yeah, I saw this.
It already does it, no?
It runs Amazon ads. It doesn't run outside
Oh,
ads.
right. Promos for other content they're doing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so they'll run. Yeah.
So, in other words, again, we don't pay for
As
it.
long as it's
Okay.
not in the middle of the movie, I don't care.
A move that will help offset rising costs and provide a boost to an already robust advertising business. Ad supported streaming will be the default on Prime Video in US, UK, Germany, and Canada starting early next year. The company has long offered video streaming as part of a package that also includes speedy shipping, music, and other perks. Amazon said Prime subscribers will continue to pay $139 annually. I thought it was more than I thought it was $149 in the US, but will be able to pay an additional $299 a month to avoid ads. Pricing in other countries will be announced later.
Mm.
So you pay $2.99 and you don't get any ads.
Look,
If
for
if you
those
Prime.
who consume content
Yeah,
primarily
right.
by Prime Video,
It's
not a
nothing.
bad deal. You're
Right.
already paying them, right?
Right.
If you're using them just for, if you pay just for video, then yeah, they screwed you. But
Yeah.
interesting.
All right. Gal, how many smartphone brands do you think have left the market since 2017? Brands,
Yeah,
not
I have no
models.
idea. Yeah, I understand.
The likes of LG probably come to mind. Then there are the many local, lesser known brands, maybe 50 or 100. The
Wait,
actual, what?
I didn't even wait. Smartphone
Yeah.
brands?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was more than
Well,
like a handful.
right.
No, there, yeah, the
The
tons. There was a lot of Chinese brands, but what other local brands are there?
I don't know. So the actual figure is astoundingly nearly 500.
Jeez.
Counterpoint research analysis shows that at its peak in 2017, there were more than 700 smartphone brands contributing to the 1.5 billion units sold annually.
That's crazy.
In 2023, that number is down by a third to almost 250. Nearly all of those brands that have shuttered over the last 5 years were local ones. I don't understand. I'm with you. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Found in locations such as India, the Middle East, Africa, China, Japan, and South Korea. The number of global brands such as Samsung has remained consistent at over 30. It's apparently, yeah, because we don't see it. I mean, you travel, God, what do they have
Yeah,
Israeli
but
made
I
ones?
traveled to where? To Israel.
Yeah, do they
So,
have Israeli made ones?
no.
Okay, so
But I can see, think about it, right? China, India,
yeah,
South Korea, they have a lot of manufacturing plants for
Phones.
cells.
right.
Yeah.
So having these plants work for a local company for a smaller batch doesn't make uh, it's not doesn't sound that outlandish, but yeah,
Yeah,
it does also I mean, with a global recession, right, starting in 2020, you make sense that a lot of these will go away, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is going away, a lot of stuff went away.
Yeah.
But to think that there were 500 different
Yeah, but
smart
think
phew,
about the population of India.
yeah.
Think about the population of China. Those are huge populations, and as a market, they are potentially more lucrative than shipping internationally because you do not need to deal with international law, just with local law. So, yeah, I can see a lot of companies that existed in that market and died away, right? For us not to know. So,
I guess it's hard
uh,
for people in America to make this connection because all of our brands are international brands and they're not made here. They're made in these countries, like you were talking about, that have the manufacturers.
well, I mean,
Like,
Apple is an American brand, but yeah, it's
yeah, but
manufactured
I wouldn't say
elsewhere.
it's
I agree.
local.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's it, but it is mind-boggling.
And compared to India and China, right? The US is a small market. It's just a very
Right.
rich
Yeah.
market,
Yeah.
right? It's a very rich market compared to India and China. And that's why you had a lot of these local manufacturers because um, they would produce very cheap phones, right? Compared to a Samsung, compared to an Apple, compared to LG, right? So that's the thing. It's their market was the locals who couldn't pay the price for the international brands. The reason they did that died off is one they couldn't survive, right? Because the margin of profit was much lower. Uh, but also, I'm guessing the bigger competition, the bigger companies, they figured out how to tap into those markets eventually. I'm guessing those are the two factors: the recession and the bigger players stepping into those niche.
You call it niche. Um, Back to Microsoft. At an event last week focused on AI and security tools and new Surface devices, Microsoft announced that Windows 11 users will soon be able to take better advantage of passkeys, the digital credentials that can be used as an authentication method for websites and apps. Once the expanded passkeys support rolls out, Windows 11 users will be able to create a passkey using Windows Hello, is a Windows biometric identity and access control feature. They'll then be able to use that passkey to access supported webs or apps using their face, fingerprint, or PIN. Windows 11 passkeys can be managed on the device on which they're stored or saved to a mobile phone or added convenience. Um, Somebody asked last week when, if anybody was using passkeys, um, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
you
if
said
it'll
that
come to the OS, it might be easier to use. We'll see.
it will be. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, easier is not necessarily safer, right?
Right.
So let's see
Okay. Yeah,
that
that's
is
true.
it improves
Yeah.
the process,
Yeah.
right? And
It
if it must be tied to a Microsoft account, then I'm not sure I'm going to
Forget it.
use it, right?
No.
So, yeah, if you allow me to do it on terms, maybe, right? But again, for most people, probably mean that they're gonna start using it. So yeah, I'm all for better
If
security
it's
eventually, right?
it
Just
will be good to kind of like not jumpstart, but get people to use it. And then
right,
when it's not that secured and you say, okay, now I'm going to go somewhere else.
right.
So it's
I will be able to choose the implementation,
Mhm.
right? I'll be for it. If it's just the one single implementation that the OS provides, I'll probably wait until that option exists because um, I am the way I see it, security, we need to own the security, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We cannot give the security to anybody else.
Nope.
So I don't care how good Microsoft are doing right now. I'm not giving them. I've I've given everything I was able to give in the past 20 years, right, to the likes of Google and stuff, and I've been reclaiming that back. So I just hope others will do it as well. That's all, not just give away, right?
Yeah. And also, it- not that the cyber attacks stopped. We didn't talk about it for some time, but they're still going on. But it's like yeah, it's going on. We know. But
Yeah.
here there's the cyber attack at Clorox is
Oh,
causing
right.
wide scale disruption of the company's operations, hampering
I
its
get that
ability.
bleach.
Yeah, hampering its ability to make its cleaning materials. Clorox says this was last Monday. Uh, they said that some of its products are now in short supply as it has struggled to meet consumer demand during the disruption. They didn't specify which of its products are affected. Um,
They probably
Amazing.
don't wanna cause a toilet paper problem. Remember when it was like everybody freaked out about toilet paper and they all went out and bought it, and then it was a problem when it wasn't a problem before? They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
they
uh,
don't want it to be a problem with the bleach or spray or whatever it is that they're having a hard time stocking.
Imagine that this cyber attack took place
Oh
right in
gosh.
the beginning during COVID when
Yeah.
everybody was using it to clean. It's mm. um, a few months after getting FDA approval for human trials, Neuralink is looking for its first test subject. The 6-year initial trial, which the Elon Musk owned company is calling the Prime study, is intended to test Neuralink technologies designed to help those with paralysis control devices. The company is looking for people with quadriplegia due to vertical spine cord injury or ALS who are over the age of 22 and have a consistent and reliable caregiver to be part of the study. Um, Anything that will work and will make life better for those people would be great.
Mhm. So what does it do? Like, what is
Neuralink is uh, direct to the brain interface.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
The they have some interesting plans. So basically, it's a direct to the brain interface that just transmit. Um, I don't know if it's Bluetooth or something else, but some sort of protocol, and then that means you can. There's input and output to the brain and from the brain, right? So you can whatever software you can think you can do, right, to benefit or change things. They've demonstrated it on animals where I think it was a pig. They did some public demonstration when they announced it 2 years ago. Amnon.
I don't
Um,
remember. It's been, yeah.
yeah, and it was a very interesting demonstration where they showed uh, how they can affect the pigs, like direct it where to go just by those brain signals.
That's
So
pretty crazy if you think about it.
yeah,
Because
it is science fiction crazy. It
yeah,
is
to simplify that, it's like the brain still knows how to walk. It's just the connectors to the legs are
Mhm.
broken.
Right.
So if you bypass
yeah.
that connection, then supposedly people could walk again.
Yeah, or even if you can think the limbs might be able to do some operation that the brain cannot send, then yeah, you can rewire things. So, but not only that, it's like if you connect um, some sort of motorized limbs, right? You need a
Oh, yeah.
So
way of controlling them. This might be able to provide that ability.
mhm,
Is it going to be hard to master? Probably it will. Just like I don't know, playing a video game is hard to master, right? So, but it will provide options. So yeah, it is interesting. It's very very interesting. Uh,
absolutely. Promising too. I mean, if it's he is involved in it,
I
prob
mean, yeah, he's been known to execute things
yeah,
successfully.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we'll wait and see.
The problem with Elon Musk is it's hard to like him, right?
Well,
Doesn't seem like
you
he's
don't
a
have
pleasant human
you
being.
don't have to like him, but you
Yeah.
respect him.
Respect his achievements. I will respect his achievements.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean, not
Yeah.
yeah. And, MGM Resorts brought to an end the 10-day computer shutdown prompted by efforts to shield from a cyber attack data, including hotel reservations and credit card processing, the casino giant said. We talked about it last week that there were, and the week before, there were problems.
10 days they
I
were
saw
off.
that I saw
10
that they
days of
were
computer
offering
shutdown.
I saw
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they were offering, like, $110 an hour and for people to come in, like, they were offering some crazy amount of money, but
Uh,
at the end of the day, $110 an hour for an emergency doesn't sound like enough.
no, it sounds that's a deal for them.
Yeah.
They said, "We're pleased that all of our hotels and casinos are operating normally." Um, it reported last week that the attack was detected September 10th. Rival casino owner Caesars Entertainment also disclosed last week to federal regulators that it was hit by cyber attack September 7th. It said that its casino and online operations were not disrupted, but it could not guarantee that personal information about tens of millions of customers, including driver's licenses and social security numbers of loyalty reward members, had not been compromised. Caesars, based in Reno, is widely reported to have paid $15 million of a $30 million ransom sought by a group called Scattered Spider for a promise to secure the data.
Dang.
How can you pay any kind of money to somebody, to a thief, for a promise that they're not going to,
Well,
you know, I mean,
it's a temporary solution, right? So, obviously,
Look,
the amount of
yeah,
money that they were losing a day was more than
yeah?
the ransom.
No, no,
So,
no. But
what?
that this was not to to get back online. This was uh
To not to not
for a promise to secure the data. A
I don't know.
promise. Yeah. What?
look,
You
it's probably also to the promise of not pursuing them, right? Like not continuing the investigation to try and find them. So
uh,
it's probably those two parameters. So I'll pay you, right? And I promise not to chase you, and you promise not to come at me again, because eventually one party will have the more funds, which is for now whoever runs the casino, right? Uh, to eventually track down and hunt them. So it's probably sort of look. I think we can agree, right? This is an agreement between two crooks. One
Yeah.
is the
Well,
casino.
yeah, okay.
That's one, so, right? And the other, it's all about they have things to hide that casino for sure, right? The data is not publicly available, so they need to hide it. If somebody got hold of your data, then you want to do everything possible to keep that hushed,
Uh,
right? So yeah,
one of my customers got hit with a uh, cyber attack a few months ago, and they encrypted everything on the network. It's like maybe 300 employees. Um, they hired an outfit that came in. They never dealt with the attackers,
okay.
and they were told to shut down all the computers. They kept on getting their email through the webmail, which was fine on their phones, and but it took about a month of getting stuff from backups and reconstructing and all that. I have no idea how much it cost them, but they got back to normal. Um, and it's all because one user clicked on a link in an email.
Yep.
I mean, we keep saying practice safe computing. It is unbelievable what one, just like, hey, let me check that. No, don't check it. If you don't know what it is, don't check it. If somebody is telling you that you got this or you got that, or thank you for buying that and you didn't buy it, just delete the message. If it's important and it's for real, they'll send you another email. It's just like if you get a phone call and you don't know the number, ignore it. They'll get in touch with you if they really want to get you. And in most of these cases, you will not get a call back because it's a machine that's doing it. And those machines can only call, they cannot call back. They go through the numbers and that's it. If you hung up or if you didn't answer, they go to the next one.
But Amnon,
Yeah.
if I don't respond, it's not polite.
It's not polite. Exactly. Yeah. Some people will feel like that. Don't laugh. Don't
No,
laugh.
I know.
Yeah.
These are the people that unfortunately are they get duped into it
Yep.
because they approach this with a naive trust.
Absolutely.
And I understand where that naive trust. I want to trust everybody as well. It's just I've learned my lessons, so uh, I do it less. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's just trusting.
Yeah.
Nobody can even fathom. Most people can't even fathom the idea that somebody wants to do them harm, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's the old cliche from the movies. It's not personal. It's business. It's literally this. You are a mark, uh, and you are literally a random mark. And yes, that might happen.
No. Hey, somebody in the chat is just putting some URL. Nah, ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't. We don't let you click on it, but don't try to get the link and go somewhere with it. Anyway, um, WhatsApp. A few lucky WhatsApp beta testers got a surprise treat last week. The company appeared to be testing version of its iOS app that is also optimized for the iPad.
Mm.
At first spotted by Wabit Wabital Info, version 23.19.171 of WhatsApp Test Flight app includes the new iPad app as well. So they're saying that from what we can see in screenshots, the iPad app works exactly like you'd expect. You connect to it by scanning a QR code, the same way you'd link your account to any other device and everything. So it's you can I didn't know that you can't use WhatsApp on an iPad.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Oh,
You can use WhatsApp on an iPad by reading the QR code from a browser, but I don't think Safari is supported. So you need,
oh,
I don't know if you can install Chrome or Firefox or anything like that. So there's like this convoluted way of maybe doing it, maybe by changing the user, but it's like you need to be technical. This is the first time that the app itself will allow itself to be installed, and the way it'll work, it'll link to it. And there's no reason in the world that it shouldn't work, right? But
right. There's no reason.
yeah, but it was never supported. So it's a big deal for anybody who
Yeah,
needs that.
it's a beta tester. It's not out
Yeah,
there
because it's a new
apparently.
feature. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it might. I mean, yeah,
but that's every now and then Facebook does. I mean, Meta does good things.
yeah. I wouldn't count WhatsApp as Meta. That's the thing. These are they own them,
Yeah.
right? And they approve it. But WhatsApp in general has been a good product, a good company,
Hmm.
and I think they're pretty much intact. But yeah, I mean, stuff Meta is forcing them to do some stuff, right? And it'll happen. I think we talked about it. They're adding ads, right, and stuff like that. So that'll happen. There's no going, no running away from it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Um, I was going through telephone hell this week, which made me look at how I don't know that I would call it bad customer support, but in many cases, it may be what I would consider they should not be supporting the end user. They should be supporting engineers. Like you said last week, it was pretty simple thing to fix the problem. But the language and the instructions that they were sending me, I could not make anything out of. I have to keep sending and saying, okay, I don't understand what you're saying here. What do you mean do this? And I called um Obitalk, which is the old Polycom, and talked to somebody there. And she spent, I mean, all I was trying on this, but I'll get to that. The end result was they couldn't fix the problem, and they came back and said, "Oh, your support and warranty expired back in 22, so you're gonna have to buy new ones." After they talked to me for hours, and I said, I should be able to fix it," and I just started playing with it, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, and finally, it dawned on me, "Oh, that's what they meant all the time. I just have to swap," and it worked. But now I still have a problem, which they were trying to help me there with the distinctive ring.
I remember you talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, I had 2 different people from there. They did agree that the distinctive ring comes from the Obito
Okay.
because it's not coming from the phone. In the phone, I don't have it. I have different ring tones, but not the
The
instead of
pattern. Right. Right. Yeah.
and it was they took me to the back end of the Obitalk, not to the regular, not to the web interface. And it was literally it said one ring, and it will not do it. It always defaulted back to two.
Hmm.
There was nothing that they could do to have it stay at one. And I got real, I mean, I got so pissed at the whole thing that I said, you know what, I need to switch. Because to buy a new Obitalk today is over $100. There are other boxes. There's the Grand Stream that you can buy that will do the trick of analog to digital and or digital to analog actually. So you can use your regular phone. But I found out that no, I can't use it with NVO because I have the special plans that are they have to do with Obitalk. And it's a good financially it's a good decision, but obviously not when you have problems. I found out that to go to pattern number 3 of the ringtone, it goes instead of which was a little more easy. It was
Interesting.
acceptable
You could change it, but you couldn't change it
to
to a
1.
specific
Right.
pattern.
Yeah, I could go
That's
to
so bizarre.
3, 4, 5, and then there was nothing over that. They list them, but there's nothing there. So for all, and then it was after I thought it was working, everything is okay. I found out it was sending the wrong user ID. It was sending the user ID of line number 1 of that Obitalk, which is a different phone number. And so Marshall let me know. He said your calls are not going through because some people actually just hit reply. I mean, call back or something, and it doesn't go. So I stopped using it to make outgoing calls, and I was using the cell phone. And then I found out that yeah, you have to put that account on phone number 1 and the other one. Now everything is working. But it's 2 weeks that I'm going through it. And this week was really, really, I mean, my eyes were hurting at the end of the day because I was trying all kind of this thinking okay, I got to do this and I can do that and I can do this. And you're trying to always write down what was there. So if you screw up, you can put it back the way it was. And then it was tiring. It was frustrating. But now I don't have to touch it anymore because it's working. I know I can't go to one ring, but hey, it's fine. Say hi. Tell her hi. um, it just oh, you're talking. Oh. Okay, give it back. Um, I actually called another company to go and get service from them, and it was forget it. The price was, and I said, I should take it out on Envio. It's the hardware got hit, obviously. And it may be that that port, it can't go to 1 because it's also something is wrong with it. And
Yeah.
I don't want to buy a new box now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Now, look, I bought Obi High
yeah.
in 2013.
Mhm.
still using that same box.
Yeah,
It's I think I paid around $70,
right.
maybe $80 back then.
Yep.
Uh, the alternative was paying a phone company, I don't know,
Forget it.
$12 a month or
Yeah,
something like that,
right.
right? Uh, so I have zero complaints. It's not perfect. There's from time to time I need to restart that box.
Mhm.
Right? It's
You expect that.
but but I do not pay a single cent, right? Other than the price that I paid for it, and that was the reason I bought it.
Yeah, because
I do
you
not
What?
even pay. I do not pay a service
because you're
Fee.
supplier
using
either because I use Google Voice,
Google Voice. Yeah,
right?
I
Tell
do.
me
And
what
so
is OB Box? You guys keep talking about it, and I'm so confused.
that's just think about your physical landline phone,
Uh-huh.
but have it being voice over IP. So instead of getting it from AT&T or don't know if Bell still does
Well,
it around
Bell's
here,
it's not. It's
or
AT&T.
even your cable provider, right? Then
Mm.
instead of that, just buying a box, getting a line, and hooking it up to your home network because your home phone
Or
cables that go inside the wall, right? They're all shared. So the moment you plug that box into it, all of the phones, any phone socket in the wall will be hooked up to that.
right,
So
and those phones are analog.
yeah,
Okay,
they're
so
yeah
this is where
inside the
the
house.
discrepancy is because I don't have a landline. I just have a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, for a house where you had landlines and you have sockets in the wall, where you can have a phone in the kitchen, a phone in the living room, a phone in the bedroom, that's how you did it. And if you have
So
the phones and you don't want to pay the price of landlines today, you could hook a voice over IP, but you need a box that will transform it from a digital signal to an analog signal.
You know, the
And that's it.
advantage to the phone in the wall is that the phone cord felt really powerful with that phone cord. I remember holding it up and be like, whenever somebody says something dramatic, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh," and fling that cord around. It added to the drama of a conversation. We need to bring that back.
look, home
uh,
phones, right? Landlines are they're wireless today. But the thing is, instead of sticking on this same exact line, I can talk here,
right.
right? And that's the benefit of OB High,
Yeah.
right? Of a box like OB High. It allows me to use a much less complicated phone at home just for talking. Has nothing to do with this, right? And it's I don't know. There's a convenience to this. Okay, it's simple, and I like it. I like it. No, there's no complications around it, and yes, it allows me because we have four different lines. We have the home line, right? And all of these are Google Voice, and each of us three we have a number of our own, and so I can. It's my choice, right? But I can decide whether my phone number rings at home or not, right? If at the one time that was the case. Today, I do not want that this phone number to ring at home, so it doesn't. But it's like you can play with it. You can choose. And that's the if you had a landline, you didn't have that option. Maybe you had with call forwarding, but then I couldn't take out the call right from my number on the home phone, for example. So yeah, it's about convenience. It's about control.
Yeah. And about saving money.
Yep.
And Alan is saying, oh, Alan said he got the Grand Stream HT802, but he says, I want to get a unit that lets one use a Google Voice account. The OB High says on it, Google. Or Google Voice.
OB-High is the only one that does Google
Okay.
Voice. I don't know how they got that, right? Because they're the only ones. I literally do not understand how they got that and why others haven't gone that way. But it doesn't seem like Google is doing it. I think OB-High did this. Google Voice, if you remember, was Grand Central was a
Mhm.
company of its own, right? And Google bought them and made it Google Voice. So I'm guessing OB-High was in business with them probably from Grand Central times, and that's just a grandfathered
Maybe.
partnership. That's the only thing I
It
can make
must
out
be
of it.
because they are actually on the OB High. There is the name of it is for Google Voice, and that's a trademark thing. They couldn't do it if they weren't partners.
Right, but the fact that Google Voice didn't partner with any other
Oh,
hardware
yeah,
provider, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Alan is saying he's using Net Talk. Interesting.
Yeah, NetTalk is like a box you buy, I think, right? I
Well,
remember
not if
seeing
he's
that.
got a Grand Stream. No, he said I'm using NetTalk with it, but want to try other VoIP providers. So
Mm.
NetTalk apparently is a service, like just like Envio is. So yeah, he's not using. Yeah, in order for you to get and the OB highs that I'm using are the OB202, which have 2 ports each. But their end of life is the end of this year as far as support or anything. Now they have the 302. I don't know anything about it, but it's about 100 and some dollars.
Look, 100 and some dollars once every 10 years.
That's
I'm
nothing.
I'm okay with
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. No, I
It's
agree.
still much less than just paying a phone bill.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see what Alan is going to say about it. But yeah, I mean, for now, I'm content with the way it works. I mean, and the other thing is, I didn't want to change things because it's working. Okay, he says NetTalk is like Magic Jack, but you can use any SIP ATA. Well, Magic Jack doesn't use an ATA. Magic Jack goes directly into the computer from a phone line. I don't remember. I used to have a Magic Jack. I don't remember how it even works. You connect.
I mean,
Does
it
it have an ATA?
connects.
Does it have a box? I don't remember.
I think the network it got from a USB connected computer. So the computer would provide the network,
Oh,
the IP. So if you have it hooked up to a PC
right. Yeah, I
in
did.
USB,
Right.
right? Then it gets the network from the
Yeah.
PC and it just provides the line. So there's probably software running on that PC to just control it. And yeah, I remember them selling it. I just bought the OBI. The reason for the OBI was
Oh,
I
oh,
could hook it. I was looking for something to work with Google Voice, and that was the only one.
oh,
And I
okay.
think it's
So
still the only one.
he says that the Magic Jack does not allow SIP ATA. It's a device. So it's a device. That NetTalk is a device like the Magic Jack, but it allows you to use any SIP ATA. The ATA is the box, the control
But there is an
adapter.
application. I'm on the Google
Okay.
Voice Wikipedia page,
Mhm.
and it says there uh, it mentions the OBI as one of the providers.
Right.
There's a few others. That something changed in 2014, but there's talk about Magic Jack, and there is a software called GV Jack from PCPhoneSofts.com, and that provides a link to Google Voice. Interesting.
Hmm.
The GV and continue to work using Google Hangouts after support for XMP. It seems like it's still working. I don't know. So if you have a Magic Jack, maybe you can use also Google Voice as a free alternative. Maybe.
Yeah, I never used Google Voice except here in the early days of Google Voice. Actually, on that laptop that I'm using, I'm looking at the USB wire and it's tagged USB Google Voice.
So
We
you
had
probably tried that Magic Jack stuff
no,
with it.
we went with Google. No, there was nothing. I mean, it was all computer based.
Okay.
It wasn't no the Magic Jack I had for our home number. This was not hooked to any kind of an ATA. It was actually doing everything through the computer, receiving calls. But and again, don't hold me to it. I may be wrong. But the thing why I stopped using it is because if if somebody called in and we were talking and somebody else called in, it would disconnect the first person and connect the new person. It's like, hey, okay, I'm gonna just connect the new person. And it was weird. In many cases, we lost callers. And there was no way to tell it, hey, don't do that call waiting or whatever you call it. So I stopped using it. Yeah. Anyway, all right. It's that time of day again. Alan is saying GV Jack was garbage. He tried it apparently.
Mm.
Cut out constantly, but it was really nifty when it did work. Hmm. Yeah, it seems like today, I mean, back then it was not yet standard, but today everybody's using the cell phone.
Yeah,
I
and that's
should,
fine. It's like I'm not complaining about it or
yeah,
anything, right? It's not.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I should just do that. I mean, I'm using the cell phone now more than anything else, but I still have those lines
Yep.
on, you know, that it works. Anyway, he said, oh, so John's been using VoIPO. Yeah, I used VoIPO for years and then they were down for a couple of months and there was no reason. So that's when I switched. I don't know what Alan means. I didn't know you can still get it. Get what? Oh, Google GV Jack. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
was looking for the software. I can't find it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's probably all news on the wiki page.
Yep. All right. Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Nah.
All
No.
right. So I guess that's it for today.
Yep.
Them guys never showed up.
Nope.
Slackers.
What did you send me, guys?
I send you an Amazon link for OB High for $80.
Yeah, but it's not the 202. No, it's a 212.
The 212 is just a
I don't
different generation of the same box, no?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I have no idea. I never looked
I'll do
into
that
it.
for you.
All right. So thanks, Gal. Thanks, Katie.
No problem.
And Spence, if you just woke up, good morning. Welcome back. I don't know what's about Nick. I'm with you, Katie. He's probably
Drank
party.
too much.
Yep. Anyway. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Dana, Dina, Mati. Welcome back. Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed your time, our time together, and learned something. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner, and change any same password that you're using anywhere. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM in Wilmington. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him live, or you can go later on to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays, I keep saying Tuesday, but in the last 2 weeks it was on Monday, at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch for gaming news, survival games, and some political commentary. So 7 p.m. Tuesday or maybe Monday. I need to talk to Nick and see if I missed something, but I'm moving it. It's twitch.tv/infection podcast. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.